What's going on, ladies and DeGents? Welcome back to the Distinguished DeGents podcast. I am one half of the Distinguished DeGents. I am Steve, Big Bucks, a beta. And joining me, welcome back since last week due to illness. He is now on the fully active roster spot. It is Jason Money Mansmann.
Money Mansmann. Hallelujah.
Off the IR. What happened, buddy?
Yeah, I was really sick last week. It started for Tuesday. I was feeling not great, and then my voice just disappeared at like the end of last week. So was hoping, tried to push the video back to make it, but unfortunately, it really wasn't until like Sunday that I started to feel like a little better. Because yeah, before that, I couldn't make it 30 minutes without like needing a rest. It was just a brutal illness, but it took a while. I got over it, so hallelujah.
Well, good thing for that. And I was even a little bit under the weather, but come Saturday, like I was telling you off air, I actually was feeling a lot better Saturday. So I was kind of glad we didn't do the Friday video, or at least I didn't do the Friday video, because I probably would have been miserable. So waiting till Saturday came in clutch, at least for me. And now we're back. We get to go over all 16 Week 17 games. What a shit show of a week. And that is really all I can use to describe it. It was just like, you had the refs are terrorists angle in certain games. You had like typical blowout fashions. You had like backdoor covers, witching hour madness. And it's like, I know we're coming up into week 18, but didn't this, like, if you remember before the week 18 games when it was week 17, it just felt like the week 17 madness all over again, where it was just like a big hullabaloo of what the fuck. But I know you were watching the game, so like, I mean, overall general take, I mean, like, now we're going into week 18, and it's about to get crazier. So, how'd you do on the bets? But what was your overall take as well?
Yeah, money management 2 weeks in a row. I've been very, very, very hot. It's hard because I didn't keep track of my picks that well because I was sick, but I had another good week in terms of betting wise. I think up over 10 units for the week, maybe like 15 units for the week. It was a really good week. Chiefs were one of my biggest bets. That the late cover there really helped, the sort of bullshit cover. Denver, I was dead on, told you. Really, my only big losers were Dallas not covering, the Rams not covering, Atlanta, again, yuck.
Once again.
And the Bills not covering like 7.5, which is what I teased.
Yeah, I had a teaser with the Bills, but I got it at 6. So I ended up pushing on that line. I got the Dallas plus 0.5, I think it was. And then I had Tampa Bay plus like 3.5, and that was fucking dead in the water. So like, not a good teaser week. Overall for me, I actually like miraculously broke even. I didn't even realize this. I had a Dallas 5.5 and a Dallas 4.5 blind double bet, and I ended up cashing one of them out, luckily. So I broke even there. And then honestly, I hit a couple bets here and there. The big ones I had were my over and my unders picks of the week. I actually did really, really good on the over-unders, if anybody followed them. 12-4 on the week. So big totals week. Unfortunately, I did not break 500 ATS. I actually went a whopping 6-10 on the ATS. 8-8 money line. It was a very, very rough week for Big Bucks Beta, but I broke even on the bets. Cleveland was a big hit for us. I ended up, it was one of those things. The more I like looked back and watched and listened and looked at everything else, Cleveland was obviously the right side. I was just really scared to bet it. Ended up hitting a bunch of props on that line. Joe Flacco over 1.5 touchdowns plus money. David Njoku yards, that was plus money. Should have bet the latter on that. Shocked we didn't do that. I had a Flacco prop over 249.5 passing yards in Cleveland to win at like almost 3-1. Hit that. First half Cleveland hit that. And then my other big hit was a let's see, what did I hit? There was a couple I hit, but really it was just the over-unders for me. I had a Baltimore first half. That was good. Oh, my LA Rams, same game parlay. I luckily was smart enough to do Rams money line and not the 5.5, so saved me there. Thank you, stupid Giants kicker, for missing that field goal. Saved my parlay. So broke even, but could have been better.
Yeah, would have gotten more if the Giants didn't return that punt for the touchdown. That one hurt, but yeah.
That was painful to see. There was a lot of pain. There was a lot of painful games to see, but we'll just start. Let's get started here. I think we're 5 minutes in. Let's just get started with this Jets Browns game. I briefly touched on it. Jets fucking never had a shot in this game. Wasn't even close. Jets did manage to put up 20 though on this Browns team, but Browns, Joe Flacco, game was put away early. 37-20 was the final. I didn't really give too many thoughts onto this. The Jets in prime time are still dog shit. Trevor Siemian, not a good quarterback. I think it was more about Joe Flacco here and how Joe Flacco's like potentially found a new home in Cleveland.
Well, it's a great story. I mean, I don't, however long it lasts, it's a great story. Look, Robert Saleh coached Jets team on the road in prime time where Cleveland's great at home. I mean, it was an easy play, and they were giving us Browns minus 6.5 for the longest time, and it was stupid. I mean, Browns 7 and under was the lock of the year, and yeah, good start to the week. That really set the tone for what this week was going to be, at least on my end. And yeah, I mean, easy, easy. Jets suck.
Yeah, the Jets. Well, and you know what? And the funny thing was when we handicap it, and I said off air, I was really afraid of this line for some reason, and I was just like, is this like a trap? Because it is Joe Flacco, and it's like a storyline thing where it's like, okay, we saw this with Tommy DeVito earlier. We're seeing this with Taylor Heineke now. It's like, okay, is this the trap game? Is this where Cleveland just lays a fucking egg and all chaos breaks loose in the NFL? No, Joe Flacco comes in, literally does what he does best, which is stay in the pocket, find the tight end. And honestly, which is crazy because they didn't, what was it, Joe Flacco, they didn't have Amari Cooper, which I thought was like a big hindrance, and I was like, oh shit, is this where it all starts? But no, he literally just fucking made use of Elijah Mitchell like he did in New York, made use of David Njoku, got Jerome Ford moving on the ground. So, it's amazing what happens when you have when you have a competent NFL quarterback under center. He doesn't even have to be the best, but when he's just competent and like he knows what he's doing. I mean, look at this Browns team now compared to like 2 months ago. 2 months ago when they were playing Denver, I was talking about fading the Browns the rest of the year. And now you have this Joe Flacco, and now they're talking, oh, this is the only serious threat you have to Baltimore now, which I never would have predicted in the offseason.
No, I'll tell you. I'll save that for later. Although the Browns did beat Baltimore twice, but Cleveland to me looks like a team that could be a sneaky one and done in the playoffs. I'd be afraid with them because you know why? They're going on the road, and they have been a much worse road team. And essentially, I mean, again, the AFC South isn't that strong, but going on the road to an AFC South team for like a home game, especially if it's like Houston or something, I could see the AFC South getting a win in the playoffs. I don't know. It's going to be tough for Cleveland on the road, I think.
Browns are currently they're locked into the 5.
Yeah, they're lock 5. Yeah, they're lock 5.
So it looks like, they are going to be playing, unless the Chiefs blow a game and they drop to the 4, but I don't know if they can. Oh, no, they're locked into the 3. So, they're playing the South, it looks like.
Yeah, they're playing the South. Yep.
Damn, so... See, Cleveland going into Jacksonville doesn't scare me. Cleveland going into Indy kind of scares me, but we'll get into it later in the week. Indy as a home team, questionable at best. Yeah, the Texans, I think if they get hot again, I don't know, man. I'm just concerned, are they going to be a one team? They'll get one against the South.
Cleveland going anywhere scares me because their defense doesn't show up on the road.
Very, very true. They did show up at home, though, this week. The over hits in that end. All right, we got to talk about the Saturday game. Dan Campbell, I think the argument could be made, has the biggest set of nuts on an NFL coach of all time. Or you can make the argument the man has a gambling problem. Because 3 times he goes for the 2-point conversion, gets it the first time, gets the most bullshit, ineligible man downfield call. Even though there's video footage evidence that the guy runs up and goes and reports. Another time they go for it, they get the flag and it gets pushed back. 3rd time, they miss it. Detroit 19, Dallas 20. Dallas gets the suck out. They get the number 2 spot right now in the NFC. I think we have to talk about the game just because I think everybody and their mother has been bitching about the refs. I'll make this a quick point with the refs. They're still the NFL is still an embarrassment compared to spring football leagues when it comes to reviews. When it comes to officiating, they are an embarrassment. It is bad that the XFL, who is now the UFL, by the way, in their merger with the USFL, it is bad. They have better video footage evidence. They have way better technology. And honestly, even better rules where it's you get 2 challenges, you challenge what you want, you lose it, you lose it. Anything else in the game, you got to deal with it. Could you... Now, I don't know how it would really apply in this particular circumstance. But doesn't it beg the question that, like, this refereeing crew has once again screwed a team out of a big...
They actually got demoted out of the playoffs, by the way.
Oh, no. Well, they did. But they get to go in next Saturday for the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, they announced it today. They will be officiating the Steelers-Ravens game. So, I mean, I guess it begs the question, like, what do you think the NFL should do? How do we prevent this kind of shit from happening? Because Detroit, like, had they, like, had some sort of review potential, and they could show, my guy literally ran to the ref and reported eligible. Does it become like a he said, she said? Does it become, like a reviewable thing?
They've talked about professionalizing the refs for a while. That's the answer.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Like, professionalize the refs, like the umpires in baseball. That's what they do. They're professional umpires. NBA, professional referees. Again, the stripes are always going to make subjective calls that are controversial. And when you have the amount of prestige and money on the line, there's always going to be complaints. But I think you could do like the XFL, give more review potential. I mean, no offense, there's no reason why we should look at the TV. And I'm not even talking about this play because this is just a matter of, he either reported or he didn't, and a ref just screwed up. And that's, but I'm talking about like these plays where we look on the TV screen and it's obvious penalty. And John Hussey or who's the other guy? The fucking guy on CBS, the referee, Gene Steratore, he goes on and is yeah, that's clearly a foul that the referees missed. Like, no offense, why do we accept that as okay? It was like baseball. I mean, this is the one thing where you can, even baseball as far back as they are, where it was literally like, we had a perfect game called back because they missed an easy play at first base. Like, this is sort of unacceptable that this is happening. Like, honestly, with the referees, they should literally go and have the same shit as the XFL, where you have a guy in the booth who's looking at these games who could stop playing and say, there was an egregious penalty missed. There's 12 men on the field. Or even these bad pass interference. I'm not talking about every time there's a holding potential or whatever, but these just blatant penalties that get missed should fix those.
Yeah,
and going to do it. Some drunk asshole shouldn't be sitting at the, on the couch and be able to say you missed a holding penalty or an offsides or whatever.
NFL officiant Brad Allen, he is the same guy who missed the tripping call on Aiden Hutchinson in the same game. This is the same ref who I want to say he missed. He's the same ref in the Kansas City Green Bay game that did the no call on MVS for that pass interference.
Honestly, he should be reffing Jets Patriots. That's your punishment. Jets Patriots.
He gets the Steelers Ravens.
Yeah, he should be reffing Jets Patriots in the freezing cold in New England.
Yeah, you would think. But
With
now
8,000 fans throwing beers at him.
Yeah, all right. So now that we're away from the controversy, and now we're left with essentially Dallas in the number 2. Not locked yet. Detroit, I think, is locked in the 3. Or no, they've clinched the North. Their seeding has not been clinched yet, but they'll either be 2 or 3 depending on the outcomes here, it looks like. But anyways, I mean, I don't know what you do if you're Detroit next week, but this game, it was like, the Detroit Lions just to me look like a one-and-done team. It looks like the story's great. Dan Campbell accomplished everything he set out to do this year in the regular season. I know their goal's the Super Bowl, but I just don't trust. I don't trust Jared Goff to stay consistent. I don't trust Jared Goff to. I mean, even though he got the job done here against Dallas, he had like 3 other quarters to like do something on offense, and it just seemed like time and time again couldn't get it done. Dallas, same thing. They look like another one-and-done team. If Dallas is a team, if they're going to get a majority home field advantage throughout the playoffs, I don't care. Like, I still would never bet them to win the conference, let alone win the fucking Super Bowl. Could they win a game on the road? They have yet to do it all year. It's like,
I even think if San Francisco could somehow lose, I think Dallas is going to be in the Super Bowl.
I disagree with that because you still are going to have the Eagles that are in a wild card. They have a wild card. The Rams have now clinched a wild card. They are a dangerous team no matter where they are.
Ready? I'm going to be really bold. I'm going to make a bold announcement. If the Bills and Cowboys win this week, that's your Super Bowl matchup.
That is bold.
Ooh, I may throw a little coinage on that, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, those lines should be out by now.
Throw a little coinage there.
Yeah, we'll take a peep at that. But, I mean, what was do you have any final words or takeaways?
Just real quick. Remember all those people that said home field doesn't matter anymore and the days of the home field advantage are over? I will say there's about like 5 teams in football where home field advantage is Bills, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles to a big extent. There were just like a bunch of teams in the league. Cleveland, we talked about, where I just feel like they're at home, they're good, and on the road, they suck. And so the people who are like home field doesn't matter anymore, this has not been the year for them.
Bills Cowboys Super Bowl matchup 25-1 currently on FanDuel. If you really want to be bold, this would be my crazy prediction. And you're going to laugh, but I think there's a possibility. Kansas City Rams at 130-1.
Nope.
Yeah,
unless Baltimore loses, I don't think Kansas City could beat Baltimore. That's just me.
I don't normally think they can, but my question but we've seen this with Lamar. The question is, can he win a playoff game that isn't Tennessee? He has yet to do it. That's my problem. Like, I think it was Mad Dog Russo on First Take. He was literally, everybody was like praising Lamar. He's like, whoa. Like, what's he done? He's going to win 2 MVPs, but what's he done in the playoffs? And I think he has a point to it. And quite honest, and that's how I kind of feel about like Detroit and Dallas. It's like, I don't care what they do now. I know this game had like major consequences and the refs should be punished instead of getting Baltimore-Pittsburgh. But to be honest with you, I think on the ref end, they need to start getting fined. They need to start losing some of their salary, or they need to be given these punishments where it's like, oh, you want to make a bad call? You're going to play a shit game next week. Oh, you get a primetime game, you blow it? Great. You're going to get ice cold Green Bay against Chicago or you're going to get a game nobody cares about because, XYZ. Now, on top of that, Detroit, they're too inconsistent. Dallas, they can't win on the road. But either way, with these teams, all I'm saying is for playoff futures perspectives, can either of these teams show us something in the playoffs first?
Well, it's weird because with Dallas, I just feel like Dallas is a San Francisco loss away from being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl.
See, and I disagree because I feel like if they meet up with Philly and Philly gets hot again.
No, Philly's donezo. Dead in the water. Donezo. Done.
Yeah, they're
done.
They're burnt toast.
Yeah, no, they're done. They're out.
I don't know. I think there's teams on the right day they could beat the Cowboys. I mean, Detroit almost fucking did it, for Christ's sakes.
Detroit, but anyway. Maybe. Detroit, because they could put together a gritty performance. That's about it. But I don't know if anyone's beating Dallas in Dallas the way they've played. But yeah, moving on.
Moving on. I alluded to this earlier, but the Baltimore Ravens, Jesus Christ, did they make a statement win this week?
Thank you, Lamar.
56, 5 touchdown Lamar, Dolphins 16 or 19, sorry, excuse me. Lamar he sealed the MVP, and in a game I don't think anybody saw this coming. I predicted Baltimore to win. I predicted them to cover. I was just you have two teams coming off of big wins. Who do you fade? And you fade the uglier team every time, in my opinion. And lo and behold, the Ravens, I'm sure some sharps were out there saying, well, the Ravens just came off that big win on Monday night, short rest. Dolphins staying on the East Coast. And it's no, the Dolphins are not that good of a road team. Baltimore's going to be home. It's going to be electric. Lamar, this could be a MVP clinching performance. Sure as shit, that's exactly what happened. I don't know what to make of the Tua performance side of the ball. I just don't know if there was anything is the Dolphins defense and Vic Fangio, are they just frauds now? Is that what we're seeing here?
Wasn't a good performance, that's for sure. I was praising Miami's defense, and they got obliterated. Now, to be fair, Baltimore does seem to have Miami's number. Lamar always seems to put up big yards against Miami. Yeah. But that was a bad performance. And honestly, again, with the Ravens, it's always, can they do this in the playoffs? I still don't know if I'm sold on MVP Lamar. I think MVP Lamar picked a good time to have his 2 best games of the year. But that's fine. I'm happy as a Bills fan that Miami lost. Honestly, Miami is a loss away from their season being over in Kansas City next week or 2 weeks from now. So
it's not that I'm not sold on Lamar. I think that this, even with a rough year with a new offensive coordinator, they're the number 1 team in the AFC. They're winning games, and I think it's like we said before, winning just covers up a lot of the ugliness. And there have been a lot of ugly moments for this Baltimore Ravens team. They've had a couple home overtime losses that probably should have been wins had they not screwed up late in the fourth. So I guess the real question is is MVP Lamar here to stay? I think it's more of in the Ravens just win a close game. It's almost like with Buffalo.
I think Dak Prescott should be. He's probably more deserving of being MVP, to tell you the truth. But again,
no, not after you lose to Buffalo that way. That's the thing with Lamar. He's lost close in back and forth games in situations that weren't always his fault. Every time Dak Prescott got their ass kicked, he did nothing.
To be fair, though, remember the Indianapolis game when Lamar fumbled the ball 7 times? See, but that's the thing. Look, the Ravens have looked good lately. Lamar has played well, best time of the year.
Yeah. I'm shocked it won't be Christian McCaffrey. That's all I can, because the guy had a healthy year.
Time and non-quarterbacks won. Come on.
Adrian Peterson, I think.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's always a quarterback.
It's what does he have to do? Break the record?
Let's be honest. You're probably right. It probably should be Christian McCaffrey. Tell you the truth, but he'll be offensive player of the year. That's how they do it.
Yeah, but Baltimore, big win. They clinched the number 1 seed, it looks like. It seems like they might be resting Lamar next week, and we'll see the return of Tyler Huntley. And currently, they are, I think, 3.5-point home underdogs for Saturday.
That's a live dog right there. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Tyler
Pittsburgh.
Huntley is not a complete scrub. Like, that is a live dog.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this the time we fade Mason Rudolph? Coming off the road, big win against Seattle. Previous big win against the was it in? No, it wasn't Indy. Who did he fucking? Oh, Cincy. Cincy.
And the Ravens backups, even though they're backups, it's still Pittsburgh. Like,
they'll get up.
That's a live dog to me. I don't think Baltimore's getting blown out in that game. That's live dog.
No. So, but either way, Baltimore live dog next week. They get the big number 1 clinching seed win. All right, moving on. I gave out this handicap, and the handicap was like, God, I was wrong on this handicap, but how the fuck does this happen? Buffalo 27, New England 21, opening kickoff for a touchdown. Was it 3 or 4 interceptions that the Bills got on Bailey Zappi?
3, I think, because a couple were fumbles.
Yeah.
We were up by 6 with 4-1 turnover differential.
Yeah. Not a good 3 interceptions for Bailey Zappi, by the way. Yeah, not the performance you expect from your Buffalo Bills, but in an ugly fashion, in a Josh Allen 50% completion percentage, only 169 yards, no touchdowns. Ran 2 in for himself. They get the win. It's your team. I'll give you the honors, but like, what the fuck is the state of the Bills at this point in the season?
Man, it's weird. I will say, the score was a bit misleading. I feel like, because I don't know why. This is probably stupid of me. Never really felt like the Bills were going to lose that game. The way their defense was playing, although they did tire out and the game got closer. I don't know. It didn't feel like the Chargers game where the Bills, it felt like they escaped Los Angeles with a win that they had like no business getting. I mean, they played terrible in Los Angeles and they kicked the last second field goal like this. The Bills, I mean, they could have kept running and they could have won by either 9 points or 2 touchdowns because they were driving at the end of the game and just held the ball. They had one of those like 4-minute drives to kill the game. I don't know. It never felt like the Bills were going to lose. They just really struggled against New England this year. I don't know why. Josh Allen played his worst game of the year. But this is just the frustrating thing. Like, the Bills this week, if they win, they're the number 2 seed in the AFC. If they lose, they're out of the playoffs in all likelihood. Like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not out, but they're close to out.
Like, that's the state of this team. And it's so weird because this is like, I feel like if the Bills win, the Bills are going to potentially win the Super Bowl. I could actually see the Bills win this game in Miami. They're going to be the AFC representative for the Super Bowl. Because in a game in Baltimore, I would actually take the Bills because they've had success against Lamar Jackson in the past. I would 100% AFC championship. I would have a massive bet on the Bills who are going to be like a 4.5-point underdog in the game.
See, and I've just seen this so many times where I just don't know if...
They probably won't make the playoffs. They'll probably lose and be out. Like, I'm preparing myself for them to lose and be out.
So the current situation, according to Yahoo Sports, Buffalo clinches the AFC East if they win. If they tie, or if Pittsburgh loses, if Jacksonville loses, or Houston and Indy tie. So basically, Saturday, if Pittsburgh loses, you have a playoff berth.
But they're not. See, that's the thing. Like, Jacksonville plays Tennessee, Pittsburgh plays Baltimore with no starters. I feel literally like come Sunday night at 8:15, the Bills are going to be a win or out situation. And honestly, the Bills might lose on Sunday Night Football and not make the playoffs. And it's so weird because with this team, I've never felt like this is a team where I think they could either win the Super Bowl if they win this game, or they lose and they're out. Like, it's just so crazy. I mean, it's like this has been the weirdest year as a Bills fan I think I've ever had in my entire life.
I think it's inconsistency. That's the problem. The Bills
But
are
not
generally
to this extent.
no, well, generally speaking, like the Bills have had offensive consistency. It's always been your defense that was inconsistent in years past, where they would just give up a lot of scores to some bad teams. This year, it just seems like Josh Allen is missing something. Something's not right with Josh, and it doesn't look injury related. It looks mental. It just seems like the defense and the Bills are kind of winning in spite of Josh Allen. I've seen this before, not with him, but just in general with other quarterbacks. They're winning like in spite of the Josh Allen hiccups. And you have to just wonder, like, if they miss the playoffs this year, are they going to miss the playoffs because Miami just runs up the score? Or do they miss the playoffs because Josh Allen throws another interception? And if that's the case, what do you do?
Oh, by the way, the streak's at 2, 11 of his last 12 games winning interception. I will say one thing that is scary about the Bills offense, not Josh Allen playing bad. I'm not worried about a one-off sort of thing. And again, there is credit to the fact that we actually won, considering Josh did play so bad. But I will say one thing that does make me afraid about the Bills, Stephon Diggs. I don't know if they're double covering him. I don't know if Joe Brady doesn't like him. Stephon Diggs is a no-show in the offense. No-show. And that's
I don't know what's going on.
fifth receiver. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, it almost seems like Joe Brady is afraid to let Josh throw, and when he does, it's just never a good chance. He just heaves it. So it just seems like it's a lot of college-focused based running and RPOs. And let's be honest, as Stephon Diggs, he did good in like a Kirk Cousins type situation where it's the deep threat, it's the slants, it's the double move, where Josh Allen normally was succeeding before what's his name got fired, where he was actually kind of taking those chances. Seems like Joe Brady's been playing it safer. Which, I mean, if you're winning games, you're winning games. And I think even Diggs said himself in a comment where there was a post saying how he hasn't had 100 yards in like 7 weeks. He goes, yeah, it's fucking wild, but we're winning games.
I don't know. The only thing is, I don't know how sustainable that is. That's the only thing.
I don't think it is either. But, yeah, moving on. Buffalo comes away with the victory. They did not get the cover. All right, moving on. That was my over of the week, by the way. Over 40.5. That shit hit by halftime. That was beautiful. All right, moving on. Atlanta, Chicago. And Chicago, 38. Atlanta, 17. Or, sorry, 37-17, not 38. Yeah, Taylor Heineke was a no fucking show in this game. Arthur Smith does not have a job after this year. This was the game for me. If you're Arthur Smith, you make this kind of crazy ass move with putting in Heineke back, and it's like you need to fucking win out. And you had to go to Chicago and beat a Justin Fields, and he just completely laid a fucking egg, and they just literally had like no fucking answer to stopping the Chicago defense.
No, see, to me, that wasn't even the problem. Atlanta's defense that had been playing some decent football. I mean, just no offense. I mean, they were going up and down the field in the snow. That was a really bad performance. Yeah, I'm not going to waste time on a lot of these shit games with shit teams. Eberflus, there's a reason why Eberflus has a job next year, because the Bears are playing better, and Arthur Smith is not going to have a job. He sucks. Goodbye.
Yeah, moving on. If you're the Falcons, what do you... I mean, you're going to fire Arthur Smith. I think that's a given. What are you going to do? Not just in terms of head coach, but say you get a new head coach. Number one, who do you even think to aim for? Number two, what do you do with the quarterback situation if you really believe neither of these guys?
That's like Ben Johnson from Detroit goes there. Wonder if that's a possibility, maybe. Ben Johnson from Detroit. And maybe you draft up. Maybe Michael Penix goes to Atlanta.
I wouldn't be opposed to Michael Penix going to Atlanta. He came off a great college football game, by the way. Came down to the last play as well. But I'm not saying Atlanta's doomed, but Atlanta just seems a lot like what the Giants want to be, but the Giants can't. Because instead of like trying to, like, Atlanta just seems like they have the superstar power all around the team. They are just so lacking at quarterback and at head coach, two of the most prime positions you need to be a successful organization. And it just seems like they have neither. And it just seems like, they're wasting all this talent.
Atlanta reminds me of the Jets a little bit. Like, you look at who they have and you feel like they should be better, and they're just not. Like, well, Atlanta should be better, and they're just not. They're no good.
Well, they should be great, but you look at their head coach, and then you look at their quarterback, and you're like, oh, this is why they suck.
Although then again, when we get to the Saints, that sort of feels the same way.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was my dog of the week. Falcons did not win or get the cover. The over 37.5 does hit. Chicago, man, they are on a tear. They end the year going into Green Bay. The fans were chanting, "We want Fields." So if you're the Bears with the official number 1 overall pick, do you trade back for a package deal like you did the last time? Which I would argue has made them better by just getting DJ Moore alone.
I'm trading Justin Fields.
Really?
I think, no offense, like, I think you got to be really careful. You get excited in garbage time, which is what this season is. To me, I got the number 1 pick. I'm trading Fields. I mean, let's be honest. Fields' value is at its highest right now. I still don't think he has the ability to pass enough.
See, I'm just concerned that. Here's what I'll say. It's not like a pro Justin Fields rant. My argument is going to be this. Do you really have that much faith in oh God, why did I lose the name? What's the UFC quarterback?
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams, thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Justin Williams. No, Caleb Williams. Do you really have that much faith Caleb Williams is going to come in and just be this perennial?
Well, maybe you find your guy. I mean, it comes down to scouting. But to me, Justin Fields is not that guy. He's had half a season beating up on mediocre teams at the end of the year with a good defense. I don't think he's the answer. I do not think that Justin Fields is a good NFL quarterback. I think now would be the time you sell at your highest point. I don't think you get, you're never getting as much for him as you are now. So it's that simple.
I mean, maybe, but I think, like I said, number 1, you would have to believe in Caleb Williams, and that comes down to scouting. My problem is if you're the Bears and you jump the gun and you trade Justin Fields, and your scouting report comes back and Caleb Williams just sucks, or he's not your guy, he's not going to work, and now you're out Justin Fields and Caleb Williams isn't your, like, do you go to a Michael Penix and, like, fuck things up? Do you, like, it's going to take, like, some draft day general manager, like, fucking fleecing to make, like, that's my concern. It's going to take a lot to make that worse. And the only thing I will give Justin Fields the credit for is he's been playing a lot of close football lately. He has lost to some decent teams too. I mean, you have to remember they split with the Detroit Lions. They lost to Cleveland on that crazy Hail Mary. Let's be honest, they barely beat the Vikings despite Josh Dobbs' 4-interception performance. I mean, my thing is, like, even if you don't think he's your guy long term, you still have him on a rookie deal, do you not?
The problem is I have the number 1 pick in the draft. Like, he's not the guy. It's just that simple. He is not the guy. He's a discount Lamar Jackson.
That's
Lamar
fair.
may win a Super Bowl with a great team. That's going to piss me off if he wins a Super Bowl.
I mean, that would just prove the point. It's that
I'm going to have to hear about how great Lamar is.
Yeah,
Lamar's going to be a 2-time MVP, and he sucks. Anyway,
he sucks in the playoffs.
Let me not get off track.
All right, yeah. I'll end it with this. Atlanta, they're still somehow not out of the playoffs, but they need a lot of help.
Yeah,
they're out. Yeah. Why the fuck do we keep betting Atlanta? Why do we do this to ourselves?
Because every time I bet against them, they win. That's why. I hate this team so much.
All right, moving on. Next up, it's the Tennessee Titans. They went to Houston as 4.5-point road underdogs, or 3.5 points. Didn't seem to fucking matter, though. Didn't seem to matter that it was I didn't even really pay attention to this, so I don't know if it was Will Levis or not.
I think he got hurt early in the game again.
Yeah, he got injured fucking again. What the hell? Like,
this was my best bet, and it was like the Cleveland Jets game.
Yeah, I should have fucking... See, this is why you needed to be on the episode, because I literally talked myself into, like... Not even really talked myself, but it was just like, the Titans, there's a lot of uncertainty. CJ Stroud coming off of injury. Are they going to come off slow? Is this just going to be another Mike Vrabel close
win all year against Miami?
Yeah.
CJ Stroud coming back, Nico Collins coming back in like a must-win game for Houston at home.
Yeah, I guess I
heard other sharps like, oh, Tennessee's a really good bet. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah, I heard that too. I think for me personally, it was just more of like, do I want to bet the Texans as a 4.5-point home favorite? Like, completely ignoring that it's the Titans. It was just like, oh yeah, Texans is a favorite. I never want to bet that. I'll bet the fucking, I'll bet fucking Tennessee plus points. Mike Vrabel is a dog, and once again, I fell into that fucking trap. He's been dog shit as an underdog.
Yeah,
lately.
I was gonna say he's been a dog as a dog.
Yeah, and I just think next week, is this the end of Mike Vrabel? Is this the end of Ryan Tannehill? Is this the end of Derek Carr? Really an end of an era for Tennessee, if you think about it, going into next week when they play Jacksonville. Do you think they go out with another banger, or do they lay down and die?
I really hope the Cinderella's playing again, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I might be looking for the Titans to pull an upset.
That would be something.
I'm really here for it.
I would be all for it because, look, I cashed. So for those of you who don't remember, like a couple weeks ago, I did a live on-air bet. I took the Colts 2 units to win the division for a 10-unit profit. Given the way things have gone, I ended up cashing that bet out, got 2 units back. So basically, I broke even. Because not only do the Colts need to win, the Jacksonville Jaguars would have to lose, and it's like a lot of back and forth. But honestly, if that happens, I'd be all for it. I would love to see Gardner Minshew in the playoffs one and done. That would be like... Because Gardner Minshew and the Colts, especially if they're at home, it'll be like a split even. It'll be like a 1 or 2 point game, and you just hammer the other side.
Well, think about it this way. The Colts would be going, if Buffalo wins, either way, they're screwed. They're either going at Miami or at Buffalo. They're getting murdered if that's the case. Like, they have no prayer.
No prayer. But, yeah, no prayer for Tennessee. I think their season's over. I would argue they belong on the auto fade. God, I don't know what's going to happen next week, and I don't know what this Texans team, if they're I think I've heard a lot of sports people saying that the Texans could be a dark horse if they make the playoffs. Do you have any thoughts about that if the Texans make it?
Problem. At Buffalo, at Miami. Either one of those is a really... Buffalo's been great at home, especially recently.
Rookie quarterback, rookie head coach.
Yeah, it might be a good experience, but especially too, Buffalo, the way their defense is playing, and considering the fact that, that could be the Devin Singletary revenge game. But essentially, with Houston not really being able to run the ball, that's just going to be tough. CJ Stroud into the teeth of that defense in Buffalo, that's going to be a tough matchup if it's in Buffalo. And at Miami, Houston's defense, I don't think they're going to be able to hold Miami down. So either way, I think the 7 seed is playing for pride.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see. What do we got next up here? It's the Las Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts. Speaking of the Colts, this was my best bet of the week. I had Colts minus 3.5. Looked so fucking good up until that fourth quarter, and then last second got sniped away from me.
Davante Adams, one-handed catch on 14 goal with 30 seconds left.
The bad beat beta strikes again in the witching hour.
I had
Did.
Raiders +4, so yay me.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Raiders +4. Colts -3.5. Best bet just down the drain. Whoa, that one hurt. That one hurt. That's all I could say. This
Yeah,
one hurt.
that one hurt. That one hurt.
I mean, watching that game, isn't that just like your normal Raiders game? They're losing. They're not going to win. They make it look entertaining at the last second. You know, the story with their head coach is fucking great. But you know what? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, are the Raiders still losers? Are the Raiders still bums? And this was the kind of game you go up to Indianapolis, and it's like a game where I'm not saying your playoff hopes are alive, but I think if you wanted to be taken seriously, you need to win this kind of a game. And they were just like literally for like 3/4 for me, they were just a total no-show.
I think what you could say about the Raiders is they have found their backup quarterback. They're really missing. And especially, too, it's amazing. Like, I'm getting more appreciation for Josh Jacobs because, like, as bad as the Raiders' running game has been with him, without him, they cannot run the ball, like, at all. Zero.
I mean, Zamir White, too, he had 71 yards.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It looked like there were a lot of times in that game where they were struggling to get like a yard on the ground against that Colts defense.
Well, and it's weird because this is the same Colts defense. They let Aiden O'Connell get almost 300 yards. They actually got
some of that was Garbaggio.
I mean, admittedly, yeah. 26 first downs for the Raiders compared to the Colts 16. See, my takeaway for the Colts is they are not a playoff contender. And I'm actually very, like, and don't get me wrong, the public is very much on Houston next week, and I immediately want to take the Colts, but I am, like, scared because I just saw that performance with the Raiders, and I just did not see the playoff potential team that I loved 4 weeks ago is, like, not there. And I don't know why or what it is, but just seeing the way they struggled in that game, too, the way I saw Gardner Minshew struggle against the Blitz, it just makes me wonder, like, if Houston comes in and is on their A game, they're fucking getting blown out at home, and it's going to be disappointing.
It's funny because I bet on Tampa in Indianapolis, and Tampa lost, and I was so pissed off. And then since then, like, I haven't cashed a ticket with Indianapolis, and Tampa, other than this week, has won, like, 5 straight. It's so funny how NFL works.
NFL is a wild, wild, wild sport. But, yeah, Colts, Texans next week for the division. I'm scared. Like, it's weird. Like, the sharp side of me says you need to take the Colts. But then, like, watching how those two teams played, it's like, Jesus, no wonder the public's on them. So, that's going to be an interesting one to handicap going into Friday.
Yeah.
But, yeah, best bet does not cover. They do get the win, though. All right, next up, it's the LA Rams. They went to the New York Giants. They went to MetLife. I was all over the Rams here. I thought that the Sharps were insane for taking the Giants here. I didn't think Tyrod was any good. And a punt return later, and the game was live, and the cover was dead. And just kind of out of nowhere, the Giants looked like they were going to mount a comeback and beat Matthew Stafford and the Rams. And shanked the field goal. That was it. Lucas Hafrisick, I don't know if he has a job next year. God bless him if he does. And yeah, this is a really weird, wacky Week 17 game to me. But Rams get it done.
Get it done. Big win. I think they clinched the playoff berth with Seattle losing, so good for them. Just another team where just feels like the Rams are different on the road. Now, again, it was a little bit of a weird spot, but they had the extra rest. And I mean, I don't know. It was one of those games where it felt like you were going to get the cover, and then they had that punt return for a touchdown, and then the Rams were kind of lucky to escape with a win. I don't know. I don't discount the Rams too much. It was a weird spot, but you just wonder with the Rams in the playoffs, are they going to be the same team on the road as they've been, in Los Angeles a couple times? So.
Yeah, Rams on the road, they're going to be a wild card spot, so I think that they needed to get this kind of a win to just maybe prove it to themselves, but very ugly fashion, very concerning moving forward in the playoffs. I don't know. And now I think they're back on the road going to the Niners for their Week 18 matchup, and they're laying 3 or they're catching 3. I think they're catching 3. Um,
I'm surprised because the Niners have clinched, so I would imagine that.
yeah, they're catching 3. They're plus 142.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Oh, that may be
yeah,
after the show. I might have to put a bet on that.
yeah. I've already got. I think we're gonna have to get a round robin in the works. I hate to say it, but I think it's that kind of week.
Yeah, I'm gonna after the show. I'm gonna bet Rams +3 because Niners are gonna bench their players at halftime.
Oh, and it's gonna. Yeah, I could
Oh,
see it.
maybe not because the Rams have clinched too, so they never mind. The Rams might not play any of their guys either. Okay, total avoid. Never mind. Total avoid.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right,
Forgot
moving
about
on.
that. I forgot that the Rams, I think, are locked into like the 6. So
The Rams are locked into. If you give me 5 seconds, the Rams are locked into. No, they're not locked. They're locked in the wild card. They can't get the division, so they'll either be the 5. They'll either be the 6 or the 7.
I want to avoid.
Which means they would potentially play Dallas or they would play Detroit.
Yeah,
Right now,
that's an
right now they're primed to face Detroit in Detroit. Oh my God, that would be.
Oh man,
That
could the
could be
Rams
something.
get like 7? Can the Rams get 7 in that game?
I think they can.
That might be a
Let's see.
Rams money line play, honestly.
Let's see.
The Sharps are going to be all over the Rams in the playoffs if that's the matchup. The Rams are going to open as like a 7-point on. Are you almost like when they open this weekend, when that game opens, Rams Lions, you almost have to bet the Rams immediately because I have a feeling the Sharps are going to be all over the Rams.
What did the early odds say? Early odds, it's split, but LA has the edge on the money, 55%. Yeah, I think there's an out. It seems like they're locked in the 6. I'm trying to check here to see what it would take for them.
I'm not going to want. I could already tell you, I'm not going to want any part of the. I'm not going to want any part of the game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so if the Packers win and the Rams lose, the Rams will get the 7th seed and have to go to Dallas.
Thank you, Niner gang. Appreciate that. Yeah, Rams at Lions would. I'm telling you, you'd want to put a bet on the Rams there. The Sharps are going to be all over the Rams. Lions playing. If that stands the way it is now, the Sharps are going to be all over the Lions because that's going to be their first playoff game in a long time at home. They're going to have the early playoff jitters. I would even say Rams first half in that game. I mean, not to get too far ahead. I know we're doing the recap, but yeah.
Oh, here we go. Niner gang just coming out. Packers at Cowboys, Rams at Lions, Eagles at Bucks as of now. Thank you,
Eagles
Niner
and Bucks
gang.
would be an interesting one. Rematch of the Tom Brady game a couple of years ago.
Oh shit, that's right. Oh God, I don't even know if I want to see that shit though. Let's be real. Yeah, I got nothing else on the Rams Giants game. Giants still suck. Tyrod's unfortunately still not the guy. Kind of sad though. He never really gets a real shot. But moving on, the Niners. Speaking of the Niners, they went to Washington and they got business done, but no fucking Jacoby Brissett. He was out with injury, so they went with Sam Howell. Had I known it was going to be Sam Howell, I would have fucking hammered the Niners minus 14. But no, I completely avoided it not knowing, and then it was Jacoby Brissett out. But
that's a hell of a week for the Niners too. Like you get your sort of bounce back win that you needed after a tough loss to Baltimore. And, they looked solid. I mean, at the end of the day, you clinch the 1 seed. You do what you got to do. Niners looked fine. They're in a good position now. And I don't know. I mean, that's another one of those teams you just feel like they're going to be really tough to beat at home for anyone in the NFC.
I think they're going to be tough to beat no matter where they go. I mean, they fucking went into Philly and, slapped the Eagles around and made them their bitch. Let's call it what it is. And then my only concern, though, was that Christian McCaffrey injury where he got pulled. I think it was the second or third quarter, but mid-calf strain. He is out for week 18. So no McCaffrey.
He's got a couple weeks to rest up now, so he should hopefully be good to go by the time they start off.
Gotcha.
Thanks for the email. You didn't have to. Worked out.
Yeah, it did. I think the Niners though, we already know they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. You just have to wonder what the path is going to be moving forward for them.
Yeah, see, he
And
agrees. Yeah, CMC should. Yeah, he should definitely be good by the playoffs. He's got a couple weeks to rest.
it probably just like a maintenance rest period. Week 18, nothing to really play for at this point. And I mean, look, CMC got me to the fantasy playoffs. Too bad it was Dunzo for me because I didn't play Joe Flacco
Yeah,
of all
well,
fucking
another good
people.
point. Yeah.
No, but Elijah Mitchell, I mean, probably one of the best best handcuffs you could have right now on any team at the RB2 slot. I mean, you look at what the fucking Cowboys did with Tony Pollard and how dog shit they are now. Denver, prime example, no backups there, even though like they look good at first. Buffalo, I mean, I don't even know who your backups are right now for your running backs, but it's like James Cook or nothing for there. So
yeah, we don't have an Eli Mitchell. We have a Lenny Fournette and
the ghost of Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, the ghost of Leonard Fournette and Ty Johnson, the ex New York Jet.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Washington though. Since we're from Maryland, Dalvin Cook's now available. That's right.
You don't want him, Niner gang. Trust me. We've seen a lot of Jets games here on the East Coast. I think he's a little washed up. You got better running backs on your team. You keep those guys.
Yeah, Washington, Jesus Christ. I'll end it with this. Washington fucking sucks. The Harris group fucking doesn't know what they're doing clearly. And if Ron Rivera is not fired, I don't know how the hell this team keeps going. I mean, they just need to like crash and burn everything in that organization.
Yeah,
and just rebuild it.
Ron Rivera needs to join Dalvin Cook on the unemployment line, unfortunately.
Yeah, Jack Del Rio, he's already there. Ron Rivera needs to go. Sam Howell, I just think he needs some sort of better support system. And do you think Eric Bieniemy takes over this year for the Commanders, or do you think he just jumps ship and moves somewhere else?
I mean, I don't know. It's tough because the offense, especially with Sam Howell, if you were looking for a guy to develop a quarterback and really make the case, I mean, I don't know. They started out the year good on offense, but I don't know if I feel like the ownership might just want a clean house. I don't know if Bieniemy is going to get the job. I mean, maybe he's deserving. I mean, the offense has played well at certain points of the year, but Howell's really regressed as the year's gone on.
I mean, it's only been his first year, though, to be fair. And part of me hopes he gets another chance, because I think if you are going to, like, crash and burn everything and just at least get somebody who's, like, still on their rookie deal, someone who's still fresh and young, and rather than try to go with a Jacoby Brissett, where it's like, come on, we already all know what we're going to get with Jacoby Brissett. You'll get 500 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
At least with Hal, you might be able to develop something moving forward, or at least be able to build around him. Yeah, or at least back up. I don't know, but all right. Last game on the 1 o'clock slate, or no, sorry, second to last. The Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags started CJ fucking Beathard, and they got 26. The Panthers had a healthy roster, went in and got nothing.
Oh, by the way, I don't think Carolina's won a road game. That was another one. The Sharps were all over Carolina. I mean, yeah. I know Jacksonville was playing badly, but I still haven't heard a good reason of why you'd bet Carolina on the road, and I didn't. And it was a profitable week with the Jags.
So I've actually had very bad luck with this strategy. So I think moving forward into the future, I'll avoid this potential situation. Every time I look at the early line and there's always an injury potential, or there's somebody who might be out, I tend to jump the game early just to see if I can get a competitive advantage. And then if I end up really loving the other side, I'll try to middle it. So prime example in this game, Carolina came in, they were 7-point road underdogs, and I thought it was crazy that if CJ Beathard comes in, that Carolina would be like not over at a touchdown, at a touchdown. So I bet it at +7, like just a unit, because I was thinking, you know what, at least at the end of the day, like, you know, at 7, it's CJ Beathard. It should be close. The Panthers looked really good against Green Bay. And then it was Beathard, and the line dropped to 3.5. And did I middle this? No. I said, you know what? It's CJ Beathard. He sucks. They'll probably lose anyways. And Oh, by the way, Panthers owner, he got so fucking livid at this. He did what I normally would have done and found like the nearest drink he had in his hand and just threw it at the most nearby fan possible. Talking shit. $300,000 fine for him just came out, by the way.
Yeah, the owner should stay in the box and stop throwing drinks at people rather than working with the QB coach there. Carolina's a mess. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, he's one of the worst owners in football, in my opinion.
What do you think was worse? Do you think that was worse, or do you think it was worse when Mark Davis was arguing with the fans over Josh McDaniels? And his whole argument was just like, I think it was like, you got to be patient. You don't know how this shit works. And then 2 weeks later, he's apologizing to the fucking team after he fired McDaniels.
No. See, Tepper's worse because I heard there was a lot of meddling with the. I told you about that article in The Athletic when Frank Reich got fired, when they talked about just the toxic environment in Carolina with coaches forming their own cliques and going to the owner and like backstabbing each other. It was, and then the guy came out. Remember that this one for a laugh when he came out and was like, "Oh, well, actually, our original plan was to draft C.J. Stroud, but then we traded up for the number one pick."
That's right.
So like, what are you doing, homie? Like, Carolina is so bad right now.
What makes it worse is that they traded up and got rid of DJ Moore to get that pick, and then they fucked it up. I mean,
that's a true statement. What the hell? Yeah, he's terrible.
Getting popping off here. We gotta love it.
Yeah,
my lord.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. He's terrible. And look, for the Jacksonville side of it, real quick, I actually jumped on the game when CJ Beathard played because let's be honest, I didn't want an injured Trevor Lawrence again. I wasn't going to put money on him. And CJ Beathard against Carolina, he did very well handing the ball off and making like one or two throws a game. Like, so that
it was that's the state of the Panthers. CJ Beathard did like literally nothing and fucking shut them out. Like
26-0, 26 doodle.
God, what an embarrassment for the. It amazes me that the Panthers have 2 wins on the year. It really does. It really makes you wonder.
But that's okay. We want to back them as less than a touchdown underdogs on the road. That's what I want to spend my money on.
Look, I got it at 7. I thought it was a good number, and then and again, missed opportunity. Should have middled it, but I got scared off with CJ Beathard. Lesson learned: either middle it or just don't bet it at all. That's the lesson.
Folks got to make their money somehow.
All right, last 1 o'clock game. I know you're excited to talk about this. I know you fucking love this guy. It's Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Go to Lincoln Financial and win against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Because I really liked Arizona.
Did you really?
Yep. What did I tell you the last time we had the show when it was the Giants Eagles? What did I tell you? The Eagles have in the games they've won by like a grand total of like 28 points. Why would you back them as double-digit favorites against anybody? And especially Arizona has that stats. Oh, yeah, that was a big win for the Niners. But especially the stats, there's a ridiculous record now. I think Arizona has covered like 12 straight against the NFC East now. It's a ridiculous number. And I was like, that coupled with the fact of why am I backing the Eagles is a big – now I didn't expect Arizona to win.
I didn't either. That was the shock. I was like, I even said the same shit. Like, why would you back the Eagles as a favorite? At this point, why do you back them as a favorite, period? But especially at 11.5 when they failed to cover the 13.5 against the fucking Giants. And that was an ugly-ass win. So it's like, it didn't make sense to me, but then like, Jesus Christ, you want to talk about a soul-crushing loss for Philadelphia? Like I was talking to Jack, our friend from Philly, and he was literally calling for Nick Sirianni's head. He wanted the whole fucking management group kicked out. He wanted a clean house.
Well, remember too, they got rid of Jonathan Gannon, and he became the coach of the Cardinals. And remember that little joke we had at the beginning of the year? He wants
who drove here?
Yeah,
who took the bus?
Who took the bus? I want killers. Well, He got
Kyler
his
showed
kills
up.
and made Niners fans very happy.
Yeah, Eagles now in the wild card. Fucking unbelievable. Oh, let's see. What is not half their wins came from the Cowboys and oh, Jesus Christ, that's true.
And you know what's crazy? They covered.
Josh Dobbs was one of them.
Well, remember too, they blew that big game to the Giants. They almost had at least 3 wins against the NFC East. Remember they lost that game to Daniel Jones when they had the 28-point comeback at halftime?
Yeah, I do now.
Week 3. I'm telling you, the Arizona Cardinals against the NFC East, it makes no sense. Every other time I hate Kyler Murray, as you can attest to. But
which I never really understood, but it is what it is.
Not against the NFC East. He's my quarterback, NFC East. He's my guy.
Well, I'll tell you what, real quick, we'll just speculate real quick. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, I mean, are they still in the talks about moving on from him, or is he back for good?
He's another one like Russell Wilson, a lot of money.
We'll get to Russ, and I have a follow-up to my rant from last Saturday, but that was the second to last. Jesus Christ, how many? We had 10 1 o'clock games. That's right. All right, New Orleans, Tampa. Tampa was a 2.5-point home favorite. Why did I not see the trap here? And the Saints, they marched into Tampa, and I always forget that the Saints, for some reason, are just really fucking good. Not as good as James Conner here. Thank you, Niners gang, but the Saints are really good against Tampa, and I just always seem to forget that. And yeah, I wanted to back Baker, big home favorite, big public side, and yeah, they fucking were a no-show at home. And now this week 18 is for all the marbles. And Niner gang, hopefully you appreciate this. We have a case of beer bet on. We made this at the beginning of the season. It was Saints over under 9 wins. I actually gave him the even, or not even, but
so 9 is the push. I had the over, which a couple of brutal losses really killed me.
So now we're basically either playing for a push or I win. Which
I have to get him a case of beer.
Anyways,
I can't believe I hate the Saints so much because that's a game they had no business winning. Although they always do win in Tampa. I think it's 6 straight now that they've won in Tampa.
It's unreal how many games the Saints have won.
And you just look at the Saints and it's like, where has that team been all year? You look, they play games like that, and then this is the same team that almost lost to Tennessee week 1.
Almost lost to Carolina week 2.
Almost lost to Carolina week 2. Blew the game to Green Bay that probably cost me a case of beer. Well, we know Atlanta doesn't want to win it. They'd have a better coach if they did. That's funny,
Arthur Smith is allergic
the Saints
to talent.
actually play Atlanta this week. That's for all the marbles. Saints need a win to get in the playoffs.
Well, too bad Arthur Smith is allergic to talent, and Derek Carr is allergic to being a favorite.
Why run it with Bijan when you could throw a screen to Tyler Algier?
Or you... Yeah. Oh, with a losing record, not just a terrible record. The NFC South. I will say this is the. I even said this earlier, Mansmann, like months and months ago. I was like, the NFC South is so bad, it's almost exciting to watch because we're at week 18 and it's like you have no idea who's even going to get the division. It's
so bad too because Tampa basically would have clinched with a win and just complete like a Baker Mayfield no-show. Although they were actually the sharps I listened to really liked the Saints because they said they were talking about Baker Mayfield contract and they're like, yeah, we expect Tampa to be completely unfocused, and sure enough, they laid an absolute dud, and the Saints look the best they have in 5 weeks. And now, like I said, they got a chance.
It's a shot in the dark. Yeah, Mount St. Mary's alumni Todd Bowles represent the Mount. Another fucking losing performance, and God, I don't know if this is like the typical Baker spot where like he either like excels when people talk shit on him and like nobody really cares, and then the minute the light's on him and he's getting all the press and they're winning games. It's almost like the Cowboys cycle. Like we're at the part where Baker's just starting to choke and he ends up being dog shit again. And now with everything on the line next week, it's like, do we really want to bet the Bucs to win again?
The
against
wall's a
another
good
division.
analogy. That's exactly, honestly, that's exactly what it felt like. The Bucks were unstoppable, and then they just completely. And I mean, it's still they're fine. I forgot who they play this week, but they got a good chance winning your in sort of game. But
Yeah,
for betting wise, if you had the Bucks, ouch.
yeah, me. I had the Bucks. Fucking lost. That was great.
Way to hedge that Caser bet, buddy.
Yeah.
God, I hope the Saints win next week because you're going to be so upset. It's going to be so funny.
I mean, I'll just bet the Saints money line. I think I think they're an underdog next week.
No, can't be at Atlanta.
Oh no, they're home. They're a home favorite. That's another thing.
Jesus, really? Okay. Well, you're going to get your case of beer after all.
Well, no, that's for the cover. Carr might still win. It's just will he cover?
Yeah. Saints win as a home favorite. Okay, next game.
All right, fair enough. Now we're into the 4:00 slate. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They went to Seattle, non-conference road underdog. Got the cover, and they actually ended up beating Seattle. I mean, is this the point where I think we have to start seriously talking about Pete Carroll
Another over 500 season for Mike Tomlin somehow.
Oh, that's right. They're 9-7.
Yeah,
now,
they got
so.
another over 500 season. This was the most shocking game to me. I actually thought Seattle was going to win. I didn't bet it because these two teams kind of haven't been great with. I was shocked that Pittsburgh performed the way they did. Mason Rudolph has been like a revelation. I don't know what it is.
No,
playing better football.
I disagree. Mason Rudolph is not a revelation. This is the same guy that got CTE from Myles Garrett's helmet.
Wow.
Like, that was, 3 years ago that shit happened? And then, what happened? He was benched for 2.5 years
Well,
after
the thing, the team's playing a lot better. You can't deny that. Looks like a different team.
They played the Cincinnati Bengals and the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks defense, which I hope Niner Gang will chip in here because, he's an NFC West guy. The Seattle defense has been fucking dreadful, and they just, especially late in the season, and I don't know why, if it's ever since Russ left or if it's just been
Years of backups, Drew.
Year back. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Just a year of backups, and you're getting a fucking third string quarterback, and it's the Seattle defense who just has been no shows here and there. And just Pete Carroll, I just don't know if he knows anything else other than running the ball, and it just seemed like this was a game the Steelers were going to cover anyways. Didn't expect them to win the way they did, though. And what a statement win for Tomlin. When, what was it, all but 3 weeks ago, they were saying maybe Tomlin gets fired, maybe he needs to move on, maybe they can't be a 500 team anymore. Nope, he's already a 500 team. They have a chance to be 10-7. Yeah,
that's crazy. And I mean, they played Baltimore. We were talking about it earlier, but yeah, they played Baltimore with none of their starters in probably for most of the game. So good chance to make the playoffs. I mean, they've got a chance to make the playoffs. It's crazy.
Yeah, DK Metcalf. Yeah, I'm glad he brought this up too. DK Metcalf is just like the biggest drama sissy of a wide receiver, which sucks because he's on my fantasy team. But yeah, I can't really stand when he gets upset. Like when he's winning and he gets all the yards, he's happy. He doesn't matter if they're winning or losing. But like the minute he has to get one-on-one with a DB, regardless of who it is, he just gets up in his feelings and feels like he has to fight. There's something going on there with that Seattle team. Just doesn't seem like Pete Carroll has like real control of the locker room anymore. And it just seems like he's kind of just living out the rest of his coaching years till he can retire.
Do you know who Seattle plays this week? I mean, that really felt like a giant loss for them.
Arizona.
Well, I mean, honestly, at this point, you never know. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Arizona had their big win. I'd probably be back in Seattle in this game, but
2.5 point favorites.
You never know. I mean, Seattle's not. I'm shocked they lost that game. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked they lost the way they did. That was my real takeaway. Like, I thought it was gonna be like more of a shootout because, like, again, like I've said with the Seattle defense, like they are just not good. They have like no secondary anymore. Jamal Adams is getting fucking carted off. Oh no, wait. Yeah, Jamal Adams, he gets carted off every fucking 4 weeks. I just don't know if this Seattle team, like, they get so much hype with, like, they had so much hype with Geno Smith this year, and this is why, like, in our, like, preview, I was like, why are people ignoring the Rams and why are we all over Seattle all of a sudden? It was just like Geno had one good year, but their defense still sucks. They were a one and done wild card, I think.
If I could go back in time, the Sharps were all talking about how we should bet under for the Rams, that they were going to be one of the worst. God, I wish I could go back in time.
I called that one though.
Rams. Oh, what
are you 6.5 was just too low. That shit was so easy. All right, this one we gotta talk about this one before we talk about my team. But Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals. Chiefs win 25-17. Final score. This was a weird game because this just looked like another Chiefs disaster. This looked like another fucking loss for the Chiefs at home against a very inferior opponent in the Bengals, coming off that big fucking blowout against the Steelers, I think the week before. And for Jake Browning was up. It looked like late or mid third quarter, they were about to go up 24-13, and then big stop on fourth down by the Chiefs, and the whole tide of the game just fucking reversed, and the Chiefs ended up coming back with the win. And I'm not going to be one of these idiots that's going to be like, oh my God, the Chiefs are back. And I swear to God, if I have to watch one more goddamn Taylor Swift cutaway, which again, not her fault, but I'll lose my goddamn mind because it's like nobody fucking really cares. Like, can we grow up? Can we get out of this already? Chiefs are in the playoffs. They won the division. We all knew that was going to happen. There's no other real serious AFC West contenders, but they still seem like a one and done team. I'm with Niners gang here. They're gonna be.
I don't know if they're gonna play somebody bad at home. I mean, I think the Chiefs.
Oh, you mean like Denver when they barely won?
No, I mean I think the Chiefs will win the home game and then lose on the road because Patrick Mahomes still has not played a road game in his playoff career. So I don't know if I agree with that.
That is so crazy. I never you always remind me of this every year.
He has never played a road game in the playoffs in his career. And it's so funny because they keep saying this will be the first year. How funny would it be? They lose, they go one and done, and he still hasn't. That'd be kind of funny. Because everybody's like, oh, this is the first year he's going to play a road playoff game. Well, maybe not.
Well, let's see. What are the standings?
You know what it was? The big change? And honestly, the handicap sort of matched what I expected in the game. My bet was really on the Chiefs defense. They started containing Jake Browning in the pocket. And once they started containing him in the pocket, he couldn't really do anything. Chiefs defense stepped up in a big way.
Currently right now it's Bills Chiefs once again.
The only thing with that Niner gang, that's unlikely because Pittsburgh, in order for the Bills to sort of be in as the 6th seed, they would have to lose to Miami. But more importantly, either Jacksonville, who plays Tennessee, or Pittsburgh, who plays Baltimore's backups, would have to lose. Well, I guess there's the Colts-Texans tying or whatever.
So if the Colts and Texans tie, I think the Bills stay at the 6.
In all likelihood, I don't think the Bills are going to be going to Kansas City. I think the Bills are either going to win and be the 2 seed or be out, to tell you the truth. That would be crazy, though. The Bills play another road playoff. The Bills would lose that game, too. I'm telling you, Bills go to Kansas City. I've seen it too many times. My heart has been broken too many times. I can't do it again.
Monty Mansmann is a broken Bills fan, and I
can't even look at it. I'm avoiding the comment. I can't. It's giving me PTSD. 13 seconds.
God, you know what though? Like I will say, there was remember when Jake Browning was winning games, and there was talk about maybe Joe Burrow as a system quarterback. Yeah, Can those talks finally be dead?
Yeah.
This is a terribly different team. And I emphasize terribly different without Joe Burrow. I mean, they honestly, and again, this is something I said about the AFC North. It's going to come down to injuries. And I said it originally with Lamar. I didn't really anticipate it with Joe Burrow. But, I mean, look at the state of the Bengals. They were, fighting for the 1 seed with every other team except for maybe Pittsburgh. And the minute he went out, it was Cincinnati's playoff chances, dwindled. And now I think they're I think they are mathematically. Yeah, they're eliminated now, so they're out. So next week when they play, next week when they play Cleveland, it's like, God, like what the fuck do you handicap there? Like, do you go for the Bengals team who's playing all out? Do you go with the Browns because it's a division matchup? It's
I think you go with the Browns. I think you go with the Bengals. Excuse me, because Browning last chance to play. Burrow's coming back, so got to put something good on tape.
Fair enough. Can't fault that. Cleveland on the road too. Pretty sure. Let me double check.
Oh, is your team next?
Oh yeah.
There you go, buddy. Have at it.
Yeah, so let me get this straight. So after all my rage that I did this Saturday on the state of the Broncos, faded the shit out of them.
That was stupid. Told you. I was sick.
Dude.
Commented on the video. I told
Fuck
you.
you.
Broncos minus 3.5. Dead ringer. Deadlock.
I refuse to bet on Jarrett Stidham as a favorite ever. And honestly, I'm fading the Broncos the rest. Like I said, I meant it. I'm fading this team the rest of the year.
Okay, to be fair, they're playing the Vegas Raiders, who they've never beaten in history. So
yeah, but since the Raiders moved to Vegas, the Broncos have not beaten them ever.
Never beaten the Las Vegas. God, is it bad? I want the streak to continue. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad for me, but it is fun. I mean, at this point, it's something to fucking laugh at. No, here's my problem. This was such like a false win because this was supposed to be Sean Payton's like defining head coach. I'm the new guy in town. I can make anything work. And this was like, even with all the bullshit with Russ and that contract situation, I won't even get into that. This was supposed to be this is like an offensive coaching play call. We need a fresh spark on the offense. That fresh spark was like 16 points. Like, really? That's what you mustered up with a Jarrett Stidham? And there's like a few Broncos fans I were listening to that were like, well, yeah, he proved that he could take any quarterback and do what Russell Wilson did. And I'm like, I don't know if I buy that fucking, Mr. Unlimited. And yeah, with the unlimited amount of theft that he did from Walmart.
Yeah, an unlimited bank account.
I mean, hey, good for him. I said that in the beginning. I was like, good for him. Steal all the money you can. It's the Waltons. Who gives a shit? Like, but God, this fucking team, it just pisses me off because you get a Sean Payton who's going to pull this bullshit week 16, even though you're not mathematically eliminated. You want to wait till fucking now against the Chargers. You put up 16 and your comment is like, I really liked what I saw. I think he put up really good tape. Did you? I like literally couldn't watch the game because it was that fucking boring. That game was literally like the worst fucking second half of football I've seen all year.
Is that really what he said? He put in good tape?
Something along those lines. I'll try to pull it up real quick, but like,
oh my God,
like he literally was like sucking off Jarrett Stidham, and yeah, I thought, what did he say?
I
thought he played well.
It's so funny too. You listen to you see the news articles, and it's like, well, Jarrett Stidham, he delivered the ball on time. He threw a slant. Russell Wilson doesn't throw a slant. I'm like, wow, they're really fucking desperate, man.
Well, now this is the conspiracy theory side of me, but they apparently literally, here's what happened. You bench Russell Wilson. All of a sudden it comes out, Russell Wilson says, oh, they were going to bench me after the Chiefs win because they didn't like my contract part about my injury where I get my guaranteed money. Oh, so then it comes out. They do the media. Then all of a sudden, now it's coming out that, oh, he had no leadership. He couldn't learn Sean Payton. They're literally saying he was too stupid to learn Sean Payton's playbook, and he could only run 4 to 5 setups.
Yeah, but Jarrett Stidham, I mean, he was...
But Jarrett Stidham's the guy.
Like an expert performance, let me tell you. 16 points, maybe, against the Chargers, who... they're really playing hard, got a lot to play for this year.
Literally playing their backups at this point.
Keenan Allen, he's really, really excited.
Yeah, I thought so Sean Payton's comments, I thought Jarrett did a good job with his decisions, the ball security, and those things that you want to see from that position.
There you go, man. You're quarterback of the future, Jarrett Stidham.
The fucking state of the Broncos is so fucking terrible. Like,
I don't
this
think
is
you guys are underdogs to the Raiders, right? I really want to bet the Raiders next week.
2.5 points underdog. And
I really want to bet the Raiders.
this is such a bad win. And don't get me wrong, like, I should have been happy, but like, my wife was even like, "Oh, well, the Broncos won. Like, that's awesome." Like, and I was just like, "No, I don't care." Like,
maybe
I got money on Green Bay. I got money on Green Bay. I care more about that. Like,
I should have well, we'll get to that. But yeah, you know.
No, the fucking Broncos are like, their season's done. I'm not betting on Jarrett Stidham ever. Why the hell would you? I don't care that they won. You beat up Easton Stick, literally a guy named after a hockey stick. What the fuck are we doing? Like, this is what we're gonna get excited about, Sean Payton. This is why we traded a fucking first round pick and essentially Bradley Chubb. This is why we get happy.
Easton, like the speed stick, the deodorant. That's always what I think of with Easton Stick. I don't know why.
Yeah, and I'm trying to play. I mean, still, the touchdown to Little Jordan Humphrey was good. No Cortland Sutton, which
Little
hurt.
Jordan Humphrey made a good play, not Jarrett Stidham. He threw one pass over 10 yards the whole game, it felt like.
Yeah, literally, that's exactly how it felt like. It just couldn't do fucking... And it was only 2 catches for him. I mean, Stidham, 20 for 32. I don't know who the fuck he threw it to most of the time.
He had a Russell Wilson performance. It felt very like Russell Wilson.
Really I guess. Good. I mean, it's sad that there's Brandon Johnson, that was his name, more catches than Jerry Jeudy.
Well, if Jerry Jeudy could catch better, maybe he'd have more catches.
Big F. All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, the state of the Broncos are fucking dreadful. I want nothing to do with them until next year, until I see. All I can say, I hope Sean Payton has a plan. That's all I can say. He better have a good fucking plan for a new quarterback, because if I have to go into next year and I see Jarrett fucking Stidham jerseys in the fucking fan shop, I may convert to a Bills fan. I just don't. I can't do it.
You're tempting me to buy you a Stidham jersey. I swear to God.
Like, I have to burn the Russ jersey at the end of the year already. Like, I don't need to burn 2 jerseys.
All right, what do we got next?
Let's ride. All right, Green Bay, Minnesota, Sunday night. Green Bay, 1.5 point road underdogs. This was actually, I don't even think I said it. This was originally my dog of the week. I actually was really heavy on Green Bay. And then, by the time I went to handicap it, it had split dead even. So, yeah, I don't know really what the overall takeaway. Like, I remember you texted me and you were like, "Oh yeah, Kirk Cousins shirtless doing the skull, Vikings by 1 million," and that dream died.
That was the highlight of the Vikings week. No, you were right about the crop of quarterbacks in the draft. Although you got to wonder if you're Denver. I don't know how much draft capital you have. I don't know if you could move up to get some of the higher guys.
I mean, we'll fucking try. You know, it's that Walmart money mentality. We could always get something.
Yeah, you do. First round draft that goes every year.
No, watch what happens. We'll trade with the Raiders and get fucking Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh God.
I guarantee you that's what'll happen.
No, Mac Jones. You could get Mac Jones. But
no, I'd rather have Garoppolo.
This was my donkey play of the week. I don't know why I bet Minnesota and Jarrett Hall. Why I would put money on Jarrett Hall as a favorite, that was just stupid. That was dumb.
Oh, jeez.
Don't worry, Niner gang. They don't have 3 first-round picks to trade. No need to worry about that.
Yeah, Jarrett Hall. I literally had concerns, and I even said it. I was like, "Why are we gonna back Jarrett Hall as a favorite in his very first performance? This doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense." I know what I'm getting out of Jordan Love. I've seen him in enough primetime games. Like, he could win this, and sure as shit they did. Oh yeah, and by the way, that Brian Flores, like, being a great defensive coordinator and being smart. Yeah, he looked really fucking smart, dropping 33 on fucking Jordan Love, of all people. Same defensive coordinator who lost to Justin Fields and the Bears by no offensive scores but 4 field goals. Not always his fault, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
I'm not going to kill Minnesota's defense because they had no chance because they had no offense. I don't know what possessed them to play Jarrett Hall in that game. Nick Mullins, that might have been competitive. Jarrett Hall, I mean, the offense gave him no chance. And it's so hard for me to kill the defense. But yeah, I mean, the Vikings are essentially out now, and you just got to wonder what they were thinking.
I mean, I don't get it either. And I mean, you had a Nick Mullins, like, it's literally like one bad game. One bad game with Nick Mullins, and you're already off the train. Like, why didn't they just put Josh Dobbs back in at that point? At least, like, that would have made more sense because you had, like, traded for him late in the season. You had already had him starting, so, like, he had the experience. It just seemed like all year when I was questioning why Jaren Hall wasn't starting earlier, you know, like, why the fuck weren't they doing it? And now you see this game, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's why. Because, you know, he may not be any good. But the Packers now, they are, I think, in control of their own destiny. They have the number 7 winning in, and they have the tiebreaker over Seattle and the conference record tiebreaker over the Saints. So
I'll tell you what, though, the Bears have been playing well, and, you know, they're going to be motivated. How many times have they lost to Green Bay? So not necessarily a slam dunk victory.
I disagree, man. Get early giveaway. I might run back to the well and this is a best bet, but I mean, come on, Green Bay owns the Bears.
Oh, I see. I can't get behind Green Bay for they're like they're one of those teams. They're like the least convincing playoff team I've ever seen. I think Green Bay's terrible.
I'm not saying they're great by any stretch of the imagination.
Garbage. Their defense finally found the one quarterback that they could beat. Who's not,
you know what? I'll give you this. Jair Alexander should be back by this game, so you know they'll give up 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they're going to be on defense twice because they'll fuck up the coin toss again. No, I can't get behind Green Bay. I'll handicap. You know, we haven't completed sort of our picks. We're just musing now, but I can't get behind Green Bay. Really can't.
Yeah. Niner gang. If you want to check us out Friday night, we'll be on then. But
yeah, if we haven't scared you away, yeah.
Nah,
yeah.
but
is that it? Wow,
I don't
did all the games already. Wow. Okay.
All the games are done. Great, some great handicapping we got there. But I don't know. My last point with the Bears, I think they've won a lot of questionable games against a lot of shit teams, and now you're actually getting the Packers, who are 500. They've always owned the Bears.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the sub, buddy. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully our playoff picks will be better. My picks lately have been dog shit.
In the playoffs, listen to him. I suck in the playoffs. So
that's true. Somehow that happens. I don't know what, but yeah. At the end of the day, I think the Bears are frauds. I mean, if you're right about, I feel like you can't be right about Justin Fields and pick them to win next week against the Packers team. It's like, for me, it's like one or the other, but maybe both are true.
I just have no faith in this Packers defense. Again, they beat a non-quarterback. I don't know. Like I said, going to look into it more, but I'm not really inclined to back the pack.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is week 18 will be chaos week, as we love to dub it here, where literally it just feels like the calm before the playoff storm. Dogs fucking win every week.
I tell you, and anything can happen in the playoffs. Anything could happen in week 18. I mean, we've seen some crazy results.
Remember when
it should be a fun week.
Yeah, remember when Brandon Staley called a timeout with 1 second to go to let the Raiders go to the playoffs? I mean, anything can happen.
Jacksonville losing by it was the Colts losing by 70 to Jacksonville to go out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm telling
you. No, it was week 18. It was the Colts. They were playing the Texans and Davis Mills. And they literally called timeout, and Davis Mills went for 2 and they won. And bumped them back in the draft.
Yeah, that was One year we actually made a couple G's on
that was the infamous round robin. We got 9 out of 10 right. They were all underdogs.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, I had a good week last week. It's going to be a crazy week 18, so looking forward to it.
Going for all the marbles this week 18. I'll see you Friday, my man. And,
all right, man. Yeah. Thank you, Nine, for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, man. And hopefully check out our other content. Hopefully you enjoy it. We do have a Twitter. It's twitter.com/DeGents podcast if you want to follow us on there as well.
Or X, as they call it now.
Oh, fuck. I refuse to call it X. Fuck that shit. But all right, anyways, we'll see you all Friday. Thank you for joining. I'm Big Bucks Beta.
Money Mansmann signing off. Thanks so much, man. And as we like to say, make that motherfucking money.
Make that motherfucking money. All right, have a good night, man.